We're going to turn our attention to the French newspapers now. Elena's with us here on set, and you're talking teachers today, aren't you?
I am talking teachers, an often overlooked profession, if you ask them. But today they're on all the front pages because Sarkozy has been trying to, well, sort of win them over. He gave a big speech on Tuesday in Montpellier directed at the teaching profession with a few proposals in it, like the fact that he thinks they should do more teaching hours, 26 hours a week instead of 18, and therefore get paid more. That's because he's scrapped 40,000 teacher jobs. There are 40,000 fewer than there were 3 years ago, meaning France has one of the worst ratios in Europe for the amount of pupils there are to every teacher. That's because of one of his policies, which is only replacing half of teachers who retire. Now, Libération has an exclusive where they've had a look at the text of this speech that he was meant to be giving on Tuesday in Montpellier, and they've found a rather important sentence, which he didn't actually read out, in which he said that the policy of only replacing half of teachers who retire would be scrapped for primary schools. Now, the unions who hate this policy have all jumped on this, saying, you know, finally, we're going to get enough primary school teachers. François Hollande, the socialist candidate for his part, has also jumped on it. He said he's going to hire an extra 60,000 teachers. So, you know, everyone wants more teachers, apart from Nicolas Sarkozy. He thinks the existing ones should be working much longer hours, and his team have denied that he ever planned to change the policy.
Seems strange to try and win them over by saying they're not working hard enough.
Well, it does rather, doesn't it? Le Figaro, though, also agrees they're not working quite hard enough. Their headline is "The Truth About the Amount of Hours Worked by Teachers." Now, their editorial will probably make inflammatory reading for most teachers. It says that the education system is being held hostage by teachers' unions, who, according to Le Figaro, which of course is quite a right-wing paper, they think the teachers' unions get everything they want and it's unfair to the parents. But they've done this also, the graph in there, which shows how many hours on average teachers work. Apparently in France, according to that, they work an average of 648 teaching hours in a year, compared to 756 in Germany and over 1,000 in the US, nearly twice as many they're working in America. Now, Le Figaro sort of uses that as evidence to show that teachers should be working much harder, according to them. But some teachers that they've interviewed and some teachers' unions actually point out that that's just the amount of hours they're actually in front of a class of children. Teachers do an awful lot else, as you'll know if you ever talk to one. You know, they do hours of preparation to do those classes. They've got marking. They've got tons of extra bureaucracy. So you can't really assess how much work teachers are doing, the unions say, just by counting how many hours they're in front of children. It doesn't work like that. Le Monde, though, is pointing out in their page today that Sarkozy isn't really trying to win over the teachers because they are an electorate that's very strongly marked on the left already. In the last election, they mostly voted for the left, and they've done a poll of teachers in today's Le Monde, which actually says that in a second-round contest between Hollande and Sarkozy, a massive 80% of teachers would vote for Hollande, which is the biggest, strongest marking for any profession. Voting all in one direction. So Sarkozy obviously has calculated teachers aren't going to vote for him anyway, so he's targeting, Le Monde says, the parents who think that their children's teachers aren't working hard enough.
OK. Well, Elena's done something very impressive today. She's found a story in the French papers which is not to do with the election. It's only a couple of months to go, so it's quite difficult, actually. This is to do with IKEA spying on their staff.
Don't be bored of the election, Stuart. It's not allowed.
I didn't say I was bored of it.
2 months to go. But yes, IKEA spying on their staff.
Yeah.
The curious methods of IKEA, it says on the front page of Le Parisien here. What exactly were they doing? Well, they were spying on not only their staff, but also people applying for jobs with them, and even clients who'd applied for loyalty cards with them. What were they doing? Well, apparently, since 2003, they've got a secret deal with a private security company who they were paying €80 a time to hand over people's criminal records and all sorts of private information like their employment history and even if they belonged to a political party. So there's quite a scandal going on about how exactly this information, which is meant to be exclusive only to the police, could have been handed to IKEA.
Excellent stuff. I'm never bored of the election. How could you possibly say that? Elena, thanks very much. There's Elena there with the French newspapers here on France 24.